So we're almost a year on from the previous inspection, and we're reflecting on the improvements against those recommendations. Our first recommendation last year was, well, the inspection team recognised all of the different innovations and changes that we'd made sort of 18 or 24 months ago, and we're really starting to see the impact of those changes at all the different levels. The recommendation for us was to provide a layer of rigour and robustness around making the judgments of the impact of those changes. So we've spent the last 12 months really embedding all sorts of different aspects of change, and we're really seeing that come to fruition at the moment. The second thing that they asked us to have a look at was to support the staff in analysing data and using national and international benchmarks to meet the varying needs of our different groups of students and the individual students. So that's what we've been having a look at for the last 24 months in this space, and this should be a short video to exemplify just some of the things that we've been up to. Yeah. The first job, as with any recommendation, is to fully understand what it is that we're being asked. So that involved a layer of critical reflection at different levels, at senior level, working with teachers, talking to parents and governors as well. Then we got on to setting up the systems for monitoring the quality of teaching and assessment. And that involved looking at everything from pupil progress meetings to lesson observations, learning walks, formal book scrutinies, informal drop-ins, and everything else in between, looking at the learning environment, assessments, various different types of assessments, the national parameter, the teacher assessment, and everything else. We then sort of sketched out a holistic view of the monitoring schedule and looked at what that looked like from a layered point of view. So from a whole school level down to subject level, year group level, and at teacher level. The idea was really to make sure that we didn't leave any stone unturned when it came to the quality of our monitoring. And then the final part of that strategic point at that moment was to develop a way of tracking the judgments. So we put something together called Evaluation Tracker, which breaks down the 43 DSIB indicators into their individual elements to make sure that we're analysing our development at a micro level. Right, me and Mr. Wallace just off for our first formal lesson observation of the year. Really exciting because we get to watch our new teachers that we appointed way back in January and see what they're up to in the classroom. Exciting times.
So, combining my assessment role with being the upper key stage 2 leader, I'm able to work very closely with teachers so that we are able to analyse the data rigorously to ensure that outcomes for students are outstanding, as well as being benchmarked against curriculum and national standards.
The restructure has really helped me to focus on 3 or 4 areas of the school, continuing the drive in Arabic and Islamic, but also continuing to work and dive deeper into phase 1. It's really given me the opportunity to plan, support and monitor the different areas throughout my responsibilities. The impact has been that teaching typicality has moved up to very good, with lots of outstanding practice seen consistently.
We are really proud to be a highly inclusive school, but what the monitoring and support systems have allowed us to demonstrate is that children with SEND progress at similar or even better rates to those of their peers. That all comes from an understanding of data involving the children and parents in the planning process and designing highly personalised and relevant learning experience for those children.
Each leader can really play to their strengths and take responsibility for different things. My step up this year was quite a natural stepping stone. I was the lead teacher of computing before, and I've taken over as a lead of whole school innovation, which we realise cannot just be a role for one person alone. It has to come from leadership at all levels. But my job is to kind of facilitate the sharing of innovative ideas around the school, with a particular focus on the learning technologies that we have here at Horizon School.
One of the things that we've been doing over the last couple of years here at Horizon is developing the quality of leadership at all levels, in terms of the number of leaders we've got now in school and the depth of the quality of leadership as well. One of the recent innovations was working under the umbrella of the KHDA Abundance project, supporting 4 schools across Dubai. One of those schools was Oak Tree Primary, a new school in Dubai. So we took 17 senior and middle leaders over 2 days to support them in developing the quality of their learning, teaching and their leadership and curriculum. But for us, the impact was fabulous too. What it meant that when our leaders came back to school, that the quality of the conversations around self-evaluation and the rigour around the quality of monitoring and making judgments around our own practice improved significantly. So that's one of the things that we've been up to recently.
Horizon English School came to our school, Oak Tree Primary School, and they did a wonderful job. What did they do? They sent 17 teachers over a period of 2 days, and they had a look at the teaching and learning in our school.
Having now embedded pupil progress meetings at each data entry point, we are now able to identify groups of children and individual students who could not be attaining age-related expectations or children who could not be making expected progress. With this early intervention, we are able to put interventions in place and make curriculum modifications to ensure that we help close the gap.
So the mini-SEF, or as we know it, is the self-evaluation where everybody's involved, teachers, heads of year, subject leaders, and it runs in parallel with the school's leadership monitoring schedule. The lesson observations have increased, but that's been a good thing. It's been good because it feels like it's very supportive. The style, the format of the lesson observations have been very much what we can do to improve the learning, but in a very fast, immediate way. I always want to know straight away how I can improve, but doing this format means that straight after the lesson I get that feedback, and I need that. I need to know how to make it better for the children, and having that structure has really, really done that. It's been visual, it's made sure that children can be seen learning in their different groups. Even when I'm not with them, I get to see exactly how the learning's help it enhanced. So for me, it's great. I'm glad we changed it.
By using Seesaw regularly in the classroom, we the teachers are not only able to document and capture children's learning more frequently, but we're able to do so in a much more personalized manner. Children are able to speak directly into the device and describe their learning and their work. Embedding this practice at the beginning of a child's learning journey down in foundation stage and carrying it through the key stages and through specialist lessons as well has begun to and will continue to have a significant impact on children's skills and knowledge of self-assessment and on the learning process as a whole.
So in Year 6 we have adapted our curriculum this year based on the analysis of the Year 5 National Agenda Parameter Assessments. So for example, in maths we noted that the children were weaker in their understanding of units of measure and problem solving. So this early on in the year we've ensured that there are 2 at least problem solving lessons a week in our maths curriculum, and we've started to tackle measurement in some of the addition and subtraction lessons that we've taught.
So when I reflect on the recommendation that was left with us last year, I think it was absolutely the right one for us. It meant that we've spent this last 12 months really providing that layer of rigour and robustness around our evaluations, our judgments, and it's allowed us to have a much firmer evidence base to support our judgments for this next inspection.